Hello minasan, it's Hisako again. Today I wanted to do a little video to talk about kimono and different kinds of kimono that I have in my wardrobe for my henshin and also outside of henshin as well. To get started with geisha, traditionally they wear what's called hikizuri, which is like a really long kimono. It looks very similar to this, but they're the kind that like kind of trail on the floor. They're usually used for like geisha. You see them in kabuki a lot for dance performances. They're very heavy, they're very long, and they're very expensive. Traditionally, the geisha that you see in Kyoto would be wearing hikizuri pretty much full time. However, I don't currently own any. They are a little hard to find, although I've heard if you go to Yahoo Japan auctions, that's a really good place to locate them. And sometimes you may see one occasionally on eBay or Etsy, but they are a little hard to find. But I do model my henshin after the geigi that are more in places like Yokohama, the Asakusa section of Tokyo, Sakata, all of these areas. So that's kind of what mine's modeled after, which is more traditional style kimono that are a lot easier to find and source. So I thought I'd focus a little bit talking about that today. So I'll start out with the kimono that I'm wearing currently. So give me a second to get up here. Ooh, okay. And I apologize, my nose is running today, so I might be a little sniffly. I'm sorry. So this style of kimono is called a homongi kimono. And these are used for formal occasions or tea ceremony. Just anytime you want to be really dressed up, you would wear something like this. There's also kimono called tsukesage that are very similar. Honestly, I kind of have a hard time differentiating homongi and tsukesage sometimes. I find tsukesage maybe more simple patterns on them. They're slightly less formal than homongi, but they would still be considered more along the lines of a formal kimono. So this is a homongi.
And I've done the otaiko style musubi, or the knot in the back, which is traditionally how you would do obi for kimono like this. So beautiful turquoise color. So next one I'm going to pull out is another homongi tsukesage style kimono. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so this kimono, like a pink color, really pretty. So this is another homonge or tsukesage style kimono. As you can see, the pattern is more like you get one on one sleeve, one on the other. Pattern is at the bottom. There's a little bit on the back as well. Again, more of a formal style kimono that you would wear for nicer occasions, but definitely really pretty. They come in so many different colors. I have a ton of different colors in my wardrobe, but to give you an idea of another homonge or tsukesage style kimono. So the next one I'm going to pull out is called komon, which is more of a less formal kimono. So give me just a second to grab that. Okay, so this style of kimono is called komon, and these are a lot more simple. These are less formal. This is more of an everyday style kimono. I don't wear these for my geisha henshin looks. I do this more as an actual kimono for going out to like a date night, nice places, just I want to wear a nice kimono. This would be something more like I would wear for just regular kimono, not for henshin for me personally. These are a lot more simple. They have more of like just kind of a simpler design throughout. They don't usually have designs on the bottom or the sleeves. They're just kind of more simple and plain. This one's a pretty blue color with some little white flowers and daisies and things on it. I really like blue, so as you can see. But yeah, this is very simple. You could do this for tea ceremony as well. Homongi or komon would be appropriate for something like that. But this would not be as formal as a homongi kimono. So something like this is more formal compared to something like this. This would be something maybe more like, I guess, business casual maybe. It'd be along the lines of that. But definitely very comfortable and pretty, and you can accessorize it to make it a little more elegant. It's got the lining on the inside as well. All of my kimono I have bought have the lining just because personally I like that, but that does make it thicker and heavier, so not always appropriate for summer. You can get summer kimono that are more like sheer or thin, and they usually don't have the lining on the inside, so that's a little more appropriate for hotter months. But for me personally, I just like the lining because it just feels nicer, so all of mine have lining, but if you don't want to overheat, make sure you get the appropriate ones for summer as well. So next kimono I'm going to pull out is a formal kimono called Kurotome Sore. So give me 1 second to grab that. Okay, here we are. This is actually my favorite style of kimono that exists. I just think these are so beautiful and so elegant and simple. You've probably seen a lot of these before. This is a very formal kimono. These are worn for the most formal occasions, special occasions. You would wear them for weddings, you would wear them for graduation ceremonies, if you're meeting somebody super important, or certain kind of like ceremonies or festivals throughout the year that you may wear something like this too. Maybe not festivals, but special events. These are like the equivalent to black tie. These are fancy. They're usually all black, which kuro means black, and they usually have the little family crest on here. You got some on the sleeves as well, and the design will be at the bottom of the kimono. Usually some sort of ornate looking design, a lot of gold tones and stuff. Again, these are the most formal. You do see geisha wear their own version of these. It's again a hikizuri, so it's very long. Mine is not a hikizuri, it's a regular kurotome sore, but they usually have the really long ones. They'll wear those for formal occasions as well. They wear them for their erikai or their debut ceremony, as well as I believe it's hasaku, which is like the New Year's kind of ceremony, which is a whole thing in itself. So they usually wear the very formal kimono for that. But out of all the kimono that exist, kurotome sore are my personal favorite, just because they're so pretty. The last kimono I'm going to pull out is more casual style kimono. Before I do that, before I forget, one thing with this, because it is black, you would not do this for like funerals, for example. Funerals are a special kimono called mofuku. I don't own any of those, obviously, but they are very similar to this with the black and the crest, but there is no design at the bottom. They are just all black. You would also wear mofuku with a black obi, so everything is all black, appropriate for a funeral. With something like this, you would traditionally wear more like a gold-colored obi, a lot of gold tones, because that's just gold obi, usually white obi-jime, white obi-age, very, very formal look. But not for funerals. Mofuku are for funerals, and those are just a completely all black look. So next and last kimono I'm going to pull out is going to be yukata, which is one of my favorite style of kimonos. So give me a second, I'll pull that out. Yay! Okay, so this is the kimono I'm most excited to talk about. Out of everything I own, I absolutely love these. So this is called a yukata. These are usually made of cotton. They're very thin, they're very lightweight. It's usually like a single layer. There's no lining or anything on the inside. These are specifically for summer. You would not wear these in the winter. Although I have seen with younger generations, like in places like Tokyo, I've seen yukata repurposed as winter attire, but it's a little different. It's not usually traditional, and you do have to layer other things under it because these are very lightweight and sheer because of the cotton material. So I would not recommend them for winter, but if you want to get more creative with fashion styles, then yeah, absolutely. There's no one's stopping you. But these are traditionally worn in the summer months. They're usually worn more casually. I kind of like to describe it as like the t-shirt of the kimono world. It's very casual. You would do these a lot for summer festivals. They're usually very like bright and a lot of colors. Although sometimes you will see some that are more like earth toned, very like light, not as busy. I personally like yukata that are a little loud and fun, but I see a lot of girls do yukata that are more simple and understated. These usually come with either a pre-tied obi which I really love, or a heko obi, which is also really easy to tie. It's not like an obi like this with this almost brocade material. Heko obi is more like almost like a crepey material. It's very thin and sheer, and you wrap it around and sort of tie it in an actual bow in the back. Although there's different styles you can do as well. But a lot of yukata will come with a pre-tied obi, where you have like the belt part, and then the bow is already tied for you. You just slip it in the back and tie it around. And I absolutely love those because they make getting ready so much easier. So even though I have learned how to tie my own obi, I still really like pre-tied obi for the convenience of it. They just make it so easy and it looks really cute and elegant. So yes, this is my favorite style of kimonos, yukata. They're very versatile. If you're starting out in the world of kimono and you're new to kitsuke and dressing up, I highly recommend starting with yukata first. They're very easy, they're very user-friendly. You can dress them up as much you want, as simple as you want, whichever you want to do. But they are a really good beginner kimono when you're just kind of starting out and learning. These don't require the naga juban underneath that has the collar, whereas all the other styles of kimono I showed you do require a naga juban underneath. Although I sometimes see people do these with a collar, but it's more like just the collar underneath. You can purchase just regular eddy collar, and it like sort of ties around, but you don't have to have the whole juban underneath, which would be like the like this pink part here, the kimono, like almost like a slip that goes underneath. But with these, traditionally you would not do that. You would keep these pretty casual because they are meant for the warmer months. But highly recommend that you start out with these. Amazon actually has some pretty decent deals on beginner yukata that come with like the pre-tied obi, and they come with like the sandals and stuff as well. Many sellers sell those. So that's a really great place to start if you want to kind of get one to try it out and see if it's something you enjoy wearing and doing. So highly recommend that. This one also came from Amazon as well. So give me a second to put that back. Yes, so that tells you a little bit about some of the various kimono that I have in my collection and what they would be worn for. However, being in the West, if you're going to wear kimono, like such as here in the US, I mean, you can follow the rules, which I always recommend if you can, but also have fun with it, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're going to an event like a anime convention where normally a yukata might be more appropriate, if you want to wear a full kimono, go for it. Nobody said you couldn't. You should definitely have fun with it. I really enjoy wearing kimono, whether I'm dressed up as my Geisha henshin or doing yukata or komon kimono for more simple occasions. I just love the way I feel when I'm wearing them. They're very elegant, they're pretty, and they're very different, and it's definitely a conversation starter when you go places. So yes, but yeah, absolutely. If you have any questions or comments or anything you'd like to know more about kimono, please be sure to comment below and I will respond to them. And that, I think, is about it. If I forgot anything, again, let me know. But everybody take care, and we will see you in the next video. Arigatou gozaimasu. Take care. Bye-bye.